Been a registered voter, I think, ever since like college days. So that's been going probably knocking on 28, 30 years since our time in college, and then after college, once you've established a more permanent address, and I've always voted. You don't have a voice in the process unless you make those first preliminary steps to become a registered voter. You certainly don't have a voice in the process unless you are a participant, so it's extremely important to not only be registered but to follow through to ensure that your vote gets in on time and is counted. It's become so easy. The process, I think, was a little more involved years ago when I first registered. But now there's so many locations and so many folks to assist people. It's not complex at all. It's easy to do and it's quick, and you get a certain feeling of satisfaction that you've got your voice in the system. It may not always turn out the way that you like, but you've been part of the process.
I think one of the great things about our country is that we have the opportunity to have input, and we can't have input unless we are registered to vote. And every vote counts. The first time I ran for school board, when I went to bed that night, I was only ahead by 15 votes. And that was scary to me. And I thought those 15 people were the ones that elected me. It turned out over the night that they counted more votes and that my lead became wider, but it could have come down to 15 people, and they make a difference. Your vote does make a difference. So I just think it's really important to vote, to register for one, so you can have that say, and then to actually do it. We need our community to share their opinion in all elections, not just school elections.
I think that it is one of the few ways that we really have an opportunity not to just express ourselves and our opinions, but to actually make a choice and let others know what that choice was. And sometimes you get your way and sometimes you don't. But you can't say that we weren't part of the process. And I think that's the important thing about exercising that right, and it truly is a right in our country to make this democracy work. People have to be informed, and people have to then participate. When I was 18, you couldn't vote until you were 21. So I was a part of that whole process, and where it changed around 1972 when the 18-year-olds got the vote. And I was actually 20 years old at the time, and I had always wanted to vote. I think I was politically aware at a relatively early age. I had good modeling from my parents, who were staunch voters. They're first-generation Americans, and they would not miss an election. And so I went to the polls with them, and always wanted to know what it was about. Began really taking notice of campaigns and elections, particularly from the as far back as probably the 1960 election with Kennedy, and then even more so in the '64 election with LBJ and Barry Goldwater, and from then on, was kind of caught the bug of paying attention politically. But as far as voting, I kind of followed through on the modeling that I saw from my parents, and I have not missed an election ever since 1972. Whether it's a general election or primary, I've never missed one. Even the times while I was stationed elsewhere in the military, I was doing an absentee ballot at that time, and I can remember voting in a tent that was set up where we were doing some training. So it's something that has been very important to me, and hopefully important to others in our community.
We need you to register to vote. today.
We need you to register to vote today.
I need you to register to vote today. Por favor, registre a votar ahora.